Well, welcome everybody. We are so excited to have you. I see some familiar faces, and if you're watching this live or I'm going to be watching this afterwards, we just want to say as a girls empowerment team, what a blessing it has been over the past 3 years to serve in leadership and conveners and collaborators, bringing people together from really around the globe, from Zone 33 and 34 around the Girls Empowerment Initiative. I am Past District Governor Dawn Rochelle, and I have the honor of serving as Zone 33's ambassador. And my colleague, coworker, bestie, all the things that we have grown so much in this initiative is Past District Governor Tina Fischlin, who serves Zone 34, and you'll get to hear from her in just a moment. We're really here to celebrate and to recognize what has happened in the past 36 months within all of us and for all of our districts as Rotarians, and to also talk about what this next phase will be like. All of you should have received the communication, and if not, we'll put it in the chat in just a bit, from Rotary International President Gordon announcing that just like all presidential initiatives, there is an evolution. And because of the amazing and extraordinary work that has been done as part of this initiative, they feel confident and certain that we can move it forward. And one of the ways that we'll talk about today in doing that is a Rotary Action Group that Tina and I and several others on the call will be a part of having the conversations, of convening. We do have the support of incoming Rotary International President Stephanie, as well as incoming Rotary International Director Patrick, as well as the outgoing team, to really have these conversations. And we believe that we have an exciting future ahead of us based on the work that has been done in Zone 33 and 34 that complements what's been going on around the globe. So just a little bit of a refresh for some that might just be joining us and have just heard about this as Rotarians, which is the exciting part as this initiative lives on, is that the Girls Empowerment Initiative, of course, started in the Rotary year of 21-22 by a call to action from then incoming President Shaker Mehta. And what I will say from my role and from my seat in Southeastern North Carolina is this has been the most impactful work that I have done in my 20 years, both as a mom, as a woman, as a Rotarian. I have learned so much because all of you have shown up. We have shared struggles together. We have learned together. We have researched together. And it has truly been the most engaging work that I have been a part of, and is why I'm looking forward to continuing it just in another mode and modality of the Rotary experience. And so we want to kick it off by sharing a little bit through Rotary's strategic action plan of how projects that some of you will share today have really led this work that we have been so proud to do together. So I will turn it over to Past District Governor Tina, who serves as a Zone 34 Global Ambassador for this initiative.
Welcome everyone, and echo what Dawn said earlier. We are super excited to have all of you on the call today and to continue to come to the table and talk about how we can continue to empower our girls. And the last 3 years has truly been an amazing experience. I have watched all of our clubs grow as we have district advocates, and it has just blossomed, and the districts and the clubs have done so many wonderful projects throughout the last 3 years of this initiative. Just like every other program, it comes a time where you have to transition to the next phase, and that's where we are growing. We'll talk more about that towards the end of our presentation today, but at this time, I would like to introduce Cheryl Leggett. Cheryl is the COO of Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia, and she's going to talk to us today about a project that you heard about last year, but it's expanded, and it really fulfilled what the meaning of our action plan, how we expanded our reach, and how we took that project from just a vision to it really coming to fruition. So Cheryl, she is with the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia, which serves 10,000 girls and 4,000 volunteers in 125 counties. She is 23 years Rotarian, 24 years now, I think, Cheryl. She is past president of the Athens Rotary Club and currently serves as District 6910 Assistant Governor. She's very active in her community and a member of various organizations. While she may be an avid Bulldog fan, she is an alumni of the University of Southern California. Fight on, Cheryl. Go Dogs. She has two beautiful daughters and a dog, a black lab named Satchel, and a wonderful husband. And I am so super excited to have Cheryl share this project that we featured at our recent district conference. So Cheryl, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Tina. We've gotten to be really good friends over time. And of course, it's a natural affinity because we both are huge Trojan fans. I can tell you that this has been a really exciting project for us. We started, as Tina mentioned, as it just being a vision. And then it ended up being, well, it changed a bit because when we started, we were going to be doing a cruise with the district for the district conference. And through no fault of our own, it ended up not being a cruise, but we were going to go to the Bahamas and take the girls and then do a project there at the camp. But it didn't all work out that way. So when we talked about girl empowerment, it just as an original idea or the beginning of it, I wondered what can we do to work with Rotary and the Girl Scouts, because Girl Scouting, of course, is a service organization, and then it's a natural fit because they both have a common language, which is service, and we've been about girl empowerment for over 100 years. And so it was 2 years in the making, as I mentioned before. And so if you'll advance to the next slide. What we asked the girls to do was come up with a project that they thought would be empowering for girls. And they had a year to do it, and they did a variety of things in their local communities. But what they ended up settling on was something around period poverty. Because as we all have learned over time, that 1 in 10 girls misses school because of their period, and they don't have adequate supplies for it. So rather than just make something, collect supplies, which we did do, they also wanted to do something where the girls in Nassau would have something more long-term. So the girls, this is a session where they're learning to sew recyclable sanitary napkins, and they did. And then the intent was then to teach the girls when we got to Nassau how also to sew them for themselves. And we wanted to come up to make 500 of them. And so if you'll go to the next slide. We partnered with the District 70, I think it's 7210, I wrote it down. And we were able to, they provided transportation for us. And so they had a very nice bus there because the girls ended up going on a cruise, and we ended up breaking the project up. But the girls went on a cruise. And then when we got to Nassau, we had a team of 30, and we had 8 adults and 22 girls. And they transported us to the Girl Guides camp. So it was a combination not only of 2 Rotary entities, but also the Girl Guides are Girl Scouts internationally. So we were able to partner with the Girl Guides there. And the Rotary clubs there provided us not only with transportation, but also with lunch. And so that's when we arrived. The really neat thing, because girls are girls everywhere, is when we got there, they said, okay, you guys, we're going to have lunch and you sit with someone that you don't know. So by the time we got to the end of the trip, we were all fast friends. It was great. So if you go to the next slide, please. There we are. So we had an assembly line, and if you'll see there in the right-hand side, those are the ones that the girls made. And you'll see that they're really nice bags that they put them in. And the reason behind that, we started out with the idea of doing Ziploc bags. And we changed from that idea because what we learned is when they distribute them, if they're in Ziploc bags, the girls won't take them. But if they're in something that looks like a nice gift, so we had something really pretty bags to put them in, then it feels more like a really neat gift that you've received. And so that's what we're able to do. And if we'll go to the next, a swag bag, that's the word I was trying to come up with. Next slide. So you can see that some of our really innovative volunteers who helped, of course, make the bags, made those cloth bags on the side. So you can see those are reusable, and they're also lined with plastic so the girls can put their soiled napkins in those and then take them home for rewashing. And then the ones on the left are the ones that were just the ones we can distribute. So we ended up with 385 bags for distribution there, and we were able to give them to different representatives there on the island, and they were distributed throughout the islands there. We were really proud of that work. And then the next one. So we also had notes of encouragement, which we included in the bags that some of the girls made. And they also had enough that they were able to give to a district conference. And we made some more bags there. But this is a group of the girls making notes of encouragement. As we told them, and we always say, many hands make light work. Next slide, please. Another part of the project was they were planting a sunflower garden. Here in the US, girls are called daisies when they're at their first level of Girl Scouting. And in Girl Guides, they're called sunflowers. And so they planted a sunflower garden there to help with camp beautification. And then the next slide. The other thing that they did was plant identification, because there's some plants there, of course, you know, that are poisonous, or of course there's poison ivy and all those other kinds of things that we have at our camps here. So it was really a nice lesson in horticulture, because they were able to learn about some plants that we don't have here in the US, our girls were, but also they were able to help with girl safety there at the camp, the Girl Guides camp, because they labeled them. And one of the issues that they told us about when we went to do sort of an initial fact-finding trip was that the labels that they have there would become eroded because of rain or weather. And so we were able to use some materials that would be more durable. And we brought those with us. Overall, what I probably haven't said is that the trip to take all the girls there to the Bahamas, it took about $20,000. And we were able to raise that money with Rotary clubs. We submitted proposals to many of the clubs, and a lot of the clubs, individuals made donations, and then we got donations from folks within the district, and we got a small grant also from the district. Well, not that small, it's about $8,000 from the district. And then, but we were able to raise the money from our Rotary clubs and fellow Rotarians. So that was really wonderful. So this is a group of the Rotarians that we met with there who helped us get the project going. At the bottom, there are some of the girls. There's one in the middle is from the girls on the actual trip. And then on the left is me. I have the hat on with the Girl Guides leader. They're called something other than the CEO there, but that's what they actually are. One thing that I don't think I provided pictures of, and I thought about it, is that we also did a phase of this project at our conference, and our Rotarians at District 6910 were able to they brought a variety of supplies for us, and we were able to make 500 kits there. So all told, we provided enough sanitary supplies, I think, for 150 women or girls for a year. And so it took a lot of work and a lot of flexibility and sets and resets, but overall it was well worth the trip. Our girls had a great time. They learned a lot. They made friends, and they also learned how you can identify a problem and figure out a plan for it, make adjustments when you need to, and then you can implement it. So we felt like it was really something that we all learned a lot from and enjoyed and made a difference with. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. That's our whole crew there. Thank you.
Awesome project, Cheryl, and congratulations to you and the team and the Girl Guides in the Bahamas. I know that they were an awesome group to work with, and so excited that it finally came to fruition. Some of you don't know, but the district conference was going to be a cruise, and the Girl Scouts from District 6910 was going to be a part of our district conference. but our conference cruise got canceled. But Cheryl and her team, they did not give up. So I just want to applaud you on this stage and say thank you, Cheryl, and your group for just persistent and not and totally committed to making that project real. And you did a great job. And it's something, guys, that can be replicated throughout your and the other districts and other clubs, because it's easily to share how Cheryl can share how she put the pieces of the puzzle together and expanded her reach with Rotary and the connections around the world. And that's what we're doing. Now I will turn it over.
Can I add
Yes,
one thing too?
sure.
One thing, don't be shy about reaching out to other clubs, because I did just a cold call to some of the clubs, and to the clubs in Nassau, and Tina told me who to call, and then I had other calls to make, and people were like, "Oh, you're a Rotarian? Sure, we'll be happy to help you." So don't, within our district as well as outside of it, Rotary is the magic word.
Yeah, don't be shy. Just ask. All they can do is say no, but they're not. Okay. At this time now, we'll go on to highlight another project that's really been awesome to have seen replicated throughout the district. So I'll turn it over to Kim, another wonderful member of our team.
Thank you, Dawn, or thank you. I really appreciate that, Tina. So for me, we were asked to share why this project is so impactful to us personally. And for me, the Girls Empowerment Presidential Initiative, brought to life by RI President Shekhar Mehta, made me aware of so many issues causing huge struggles for girls globally. For me, two issues hit my heart very hard. The first one was an image I saw with a very young girl with a huge vessel on her head filled with water. I learned that in some parts of the world, girls, sometimes as young as age 7 or 8, are having to walk many miles both before and after school to collect water, often at a huge risk of their physical safety. The second eye-opener for me was the global issue of period poverty, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. The Girls Empowerment Initiative brought an awareness and understanding of the many difficulties that girls are impacted with globally for period poverty, VAT taxes, or what they call value-added tax for luxury goods, which period products have traditionally been considered, can cause girls to struggle with having the products they need. In some countries, these taxes range from 5 to 26%. And then, of course, there is also the cost of the products. So while there is a movement to remove these taxes, it's still a formidable challenge for many girls around the world. First, just to afford the products they need each month, and then to be able to take care of the taxes associated. So all around the country, young girls end up missing school due to not having the right products. And as a result, they end up being held back or dropping out simply because of their period. Most girls who live in poverty and are from low-income families just can't afford to buy the products they need. Also, many young women and girls globally don't have access to hygienic facilities or bathrooms that result in them feeling like they can't manage their periods with dignity. So the following project, which by the way has been duplicated over and over, is called It's a Girl Thing Dignity Bag. And many communities are also putting together projects to help girls with their period poverty. So as a result of this, the Meriwether County school system empowered girls with dignity by providing them with an opportunity to get what they need. So girls and their families now have access to It's a Girl Thing dignity bags at the wraparound care centers located at Manchester High School, Greenville Middle High School, and care closets at Manchester Middle School, Mountain View Elementary, and Unity Elementary School. The video you're about to see is a testimonial of the students and others who access these wraparound care centers and to partner with the school system to empower girls with dignity.
Good afternoon. I'm Pat Turner from the Manchester Women's Club. We partnered with the Rotary Club of Meriwether County this past year to put together a packet for girls in need. These are girls that come from underprivileged homes that parents don't have the money to purchase the supplies for them to have during their time of the month. So when that time comes, they go down to the Wraparound Center in Manchester and pick up a packet. And this little packet will take them through the whole time of their time of the month so that they can go to school, go attend functions, and do everything normally during that time. This is a program that nobody else in Manchester has. I am so proud to be a part of this program. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Tressa McCoy. I work in the Media Center here at Manchester High School. One thing about these bags, they make our girls feel like ladies.
Hi, my name is Megan Wood and I'm a sophomore at Manchester High School. And Manchester has something that no other school has, and it's these girls' bags. So these bags contain like different sizes of pads and wipes, and I want to say this made a huge difference in my life, because when Mother Nature comes late or shows up early, all you have to do is come to the Wraparound Center and grab these.
Hey y'all, I'm Azrael Thurber. I go to Manchester High School, and the Wraparound Center here has these really cool little pouches that we have feminine products in, and they are really handy. I don't even have to use it for school. I can take it other places. When I go to work, I take my little pouch with me, you know. It conceals them nice. It's not suspicious. I think it's a really good investment. Very, very good tool to have.
Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne Nasdale and I'm currently a senior at Manchester High School, and today I want to talk to you how Miss K has helped all the ladies at Manchester by handing out these little girl bags. And inside of these bags they do come with all the pads, and they even do come with some wipes to help clean up afterwards. And these bags are very helpful for the ladies here because once a month Mother Nature shows up and there could be no warnings at all, and so you could be sitting in class or at a teacher's desk or wherever in the building and it show up and you need something. So you can always come up here and get some at any time, and you're able to take them home, and if you don't have enough at home you can always take extra with you.
Hi, my name is Sanaja Sessions, and I go to Greenville High School. And I'm Miss Rona Ali, and I'm the mentor for this wonderful lady, Miss Tanija Sessions. So I have one question for you today, Miss Tanija. Can you tell me, how is this lady's bag beneficial to you?
The ladies bag is beneficial to me because they're very easy accessible, and sometimes at home, we don't have enough money to buy them on our own. So coming to school and knowing I have something to just get is very refreshing to me, because I don't have to worry about, people seeing anything or me being embarrassed. I can just go ask Miss Rona for it and she'll give it to me.
Hi, my name is Marty Stevens, and I am the Wraparound Service Coordinator for 7 school districts for West Georgia RESA, and I just wanted to share a personal story with you today about how meaningful the It's a Girls Thing bags are. Growing up, we had 5 children, family of 7. At the time that I first got my cycle, we were living in a small little 2-bedroom apartment, and money was tight. And we often had to choose, do we want to use our money for gas money to get to work, food, things like that, and those things took precedence over feminine products. And personally, if I would have had this, I would have not missed as many school days. I wouldn't have had to suffer the embarrassment of odor and from not being able to change your product or your pad. I even skipped school one day because I didn't have anything and I knew there was nothing at home, and I didn't want my mother to feel badly about not being able to provide that for me, but I wasn't about to go to school. And so I skipped school that day. And so something like this provided for our girls and taking away the stigma, taking away the embarrassment, and helping to educate them about themselves and what's going on is so meaningful. And it's something that I think would have been, could have been life-changing for me when I was younger. So I'm so happy that the wraparound centers are being able to provide these for girls. I think it's a really, really important part of what we can do for them.
Thank you for that. Now let's go to Maria for our next segment.
Good morning, everyone. Please allow me to just share my screen. Right. I'm grateful to be here to highlight the last 3 years of this initiative, Rotary International Initiative, and also the future of this project. We aim to enhance our ability as people of action by embracing new perspectives and ideas to strengthen Rotary and create lasting change, especially for our girls. And the next project, which is a partnership with Rotary clubs in Trinidad, academia, donors, and partners from the US, is an example of research and innovation with an aim to better serve our community. Today, we highlight the prevalence of polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, in Trinidad. And it delves into the critical exploration of PCOS within our demographic. As many of you may or may not know, PCOS is a complex endocrine disorder that significantly impacts the lives of girls and women globally. Yet its prevalence and diagnostic approaches vary from different countries and regions. According to the World Health Organization, PCOS is a major public health issue and one of the most common hormonal disorders in girls and women, affecting about 8 to 13% of women, with up to 70% of cases going undiagnosed. This slide highlights some of the symptoms that can contribute to the mental health problems and social stigma. This project is spearheaded by multiple Rotary clubs in Trinidad and supported by academic and non-profit organizations. Key collaborators include the largest non-profit in the US for PCOS Challenge, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, an international expert from the US, Professor Ricardo Aziz. And before I go on, I would like to recognize, I think the majority of the clubs who are represented here this morning. And each partner brings an invaluable expertise and resources to the project. The project aims to enhance the disease prevention efforts while aligning with Rotary International's focus on girls' empowerment and mental health initiatives. The primary goals are to evaluate the prevalence of PCOS in Trinidad, enhance women's overall health through screening and testing biochemical markers for PCOS, whilst improving education and awareness amongst healthcare providers and the general public, and support the development of policies to further educate and raise the awareness of PCOS. The main aim of the project is to empower young girls and women by ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely management of PCOS. And you would see this is a article from NBC News as at the end of March 2024, where even though this disease was identified as Stein-Leventhal syndrome some 90 years ago, it still remains challenging to diagnose and treat, emphasizing the need for improved understanding and support. And I would like to introduce you to Dr. Stephanie Mohammed, who is the lead researcher, having started this project at the University of the West Indies. She's a Rotarian with the Rotary Club at St. Augustine, but is currently a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine in the US. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Maria. So good morning, everyone. PCOS in Trinidad is a major concern because it is the number one and the leading cause of infertility worldwide. Trinidad, till date, there has been no findings with regards to PCOS. So we are actually the first group of persons, researchers in collaboration with Rotary clubs, the clubs that were highlighted, to have some preliminary findings on what PCOS is. So recently we conducted a research in which we were able to find that there was a 7% prevalence among reproductive age women, meaning age 18 to 45. And then also there was a strong association between a person's body mass index and also acanthosis, which was notably associated with infertility. So the importance of diagnosing PCOS is very important, as I said, because it's the leading cause of infertility. And then it's also linked and associated with a lot of other comorbidities such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even like ovarian cancer as well too. A problem that that a lot of women struggle with in Trinidad is because you have to wait very long in order to be screened, ultrasounds, and even being able to pay for blood work, which would be things like such as your hormonal levels and your fertility levels. It's very expensive. And what we are trying to do is to be able to help persons to provide support for persons with regards to PCOS, so in terms of early detection, because being able to provide access to ultrasound as well too is very important. So what we have done, as you all would see here, is that we've made a collaboration with these Rotary clubs in Trinidad, together with a well-renowned person in PCOS. His name is Professor Ricardo Aziz. He's had thousands of articles published on this. He's also been the director and founder of AE-PCOS Challenge, which is a very important organization that we look forward to in terms of guidelines with regards to PCOS. And then also PCOS Challenge, which, as Maria stated earlier on, is the largest organization for advocacy for PCOS in the US. So we are working together with them to help establish the prevalence of PCOS in Trinidad. Now, in order to establish the prevalence of PCOS in Trinidad, there are various criteria and standard guidelines that you have to go about. So there are three major guidelines, which is the Rotterdam criteria, then you have a National Institute Health criteria, and the AE-PCOS criteria. From our preliminary results, what it is we did was that we used the National Institute for Health criteria, and we recruited 230 participants. Well, till date now it's 250 participants, and these participants, they were chosen randomly across 8 geographical locations, which are the major geographical locations in Trinidad, and then they were assessed for particular health conditions. So with the use of the National Institute Health criteria, once a person presented with any form of menstrual disorder, or whether it is which would have been menstrual disorders, or if a person had any form of clinical hyperandrogenism, meaning that, okay, if they presented with acne or they presented with excessive hair growth, be it on their face or on their back or their shoulders or their hands or legs, then they were classified on a metric system, whether it is they had PCOS or not. Now, we still also have biochemistry results that we are waiting for. And then also these persons, they were not evaluated based on ultrasounds, because that is based on the Rotterdam criteria. But we were working with whatever budget we had. Until date, we were able to find that from that evaluation that 54 persons had clinical hyperandrogenism, 23 had menstrual disorders, and these are persons who were unaware that they had these, right? 13 had both clinical hyperandrogenism and menstrual dysfunction. So these persons then were categorized as actually possibly having PCOS. And still we had 30 participants that actually were diagnosed with PCOS. So you all can see that the collaboration again is between these four different major entities, which would be Rotary Rotary Group Clubs of Trinidad and Tobago, then also Professor Azi's PCOS Challenge and the University of the West Indies. So our major overview, as Maria would have highlighted before, is one, first of all, PCOS has never been studied in our country. So what we aim is to first be able to estimate the prevalence of PCOS in Trinidad. And that's something that we have been able to estimate from preliminary results. Now, we are expecting that once we test the biochemistries, that this value is going to increase. According to the World Health Organization, till date, it's 8 to 13% of women that are diagnosed with PCOS, with still 70% being underdiagnosed. And right now, there's a 7% in Trinidad. So, I mean, this could be due to genetics, which is mainly genetics, and that passed on from the mother or some other generation, environmental factors, which could be things like your diet and exercise, the things that you consume on a daily basis, and then also like metabolic diseases as well too, or disorders, right? So we are trying to establish women in Trinidad, like to be able to establish the prevalence of that. Then we are also trying to help enhance women's overall health through the use of ultrasound. So in Trinidad, it is expensive for an ultrasound, and even if it is, you sign up with your with the clinics as well too, which would be the regional health authorities, it takes minimum 3 months before you can even get an ultrasound. By then, I mean, you still, that's just too long. That's prolonging your treatment, right? We are also trying to improve education and awareness of PCOS. So when we say improve, we have had various webinars in terms of not only looking at educating on the adults, but we also focus on educating the adolescents as well too. So we had a regional webinar where we had across 24 different countries were in attendance, and it was amazing where it is they were educated. A lot of persons were unaware of PCOS because this condition, I mean, there's no till date, there's no definite etiology, meaning that we do not know what is the pathophysiology of PCOS, what really causes it. All we know is that we can treat PCOS based on the symptoms that women present with, which is irregular menstrual cycles, or they have excessive hair growth, or acne, or alopecia, or they have polycystic ovaries. And also what we have been focusing as well too is in accordance with the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, and the UN, the United Nations, their objectives, which is also to focus on adolescents research. So we've also been educating adolescents. So we had one where it is we had a webinar for over 100 students across 5 secondary schools. Yesterday, we also hosted a webinar as well too, where it is we had across 3 different secondary schools. And in this case, we actually, we coupled it together with mental health, because mental health is also predominant right now, and that's like the topic that everyone is talking about, because a lot of persons with PCOS, especially adults, I mean, they undergo a lot of stress because of the obesity, or because of menstrual dysfunction, or eating habits, or even sleepiness, a lot of the symptoms that they experience. So we are trying to also target the adolescents as well too, and try to help them to identify whether it is they present with any of these symptoms, so that they can seek a professional care from their primary health care in advance, so that they can have a better improved quality of life. We've also given like radio talk show as well too, with the Diabetes Association for Trinidad and Tobago, where we spoke about the importance of PCOS and PCOS research in Trinidad, and also being able to invite people to join with this research, because the purpose of us actually conducting PCOS research is so that we can get other persons that even have better resources to join on this bandwagon, and create a domino effect that will help enhance education awareness and also the quality of life with women living with PCOS. So our currently, right now, what we are doing, so we've been focused on the research aspect, and we've been focused on awareness and education. And right now, what we are working on is being able to implement a policy for education and awareness with regards to PCOS. So, you know, when it is you enter certain clinics, you would normally see a lot of flyers about infertility or about type 2 diabetes. So what we are trying to get is to be able to get like flyers at these healthcare centers, where it is you could actually have something on PCOS, because there isn't anything on PCOS as well, and also on the ministry's website as well, to where they would advocate for PCOS, and they would help provide any type of information to women with PCOS, because PCOS is something that's misdiagnosed. A lot of young people also, they would find themselves having acne or missed periods or even amenorrhea. They don't even have a period, late periods, and they would be like, oh, well, yeah, that's normal. But really and truly, they could be at risk for some type of reproductive dysfunction, such as PCOS. So, our purpose now is to be able to implement our policy, and we have already drafted it. So we are working together with Rotary, and also we are working together with the university, and we have a strong network of collaborators that are helping to implement this. All right, so I will pass back over on to Maria.
Thanks very much, Stephanie. It's my pleasure to introduce Dawn Rochelle, past district governor and deputy ambassador for girls empowerment. Over to you, Dawn.
Thank you so much. I mean, the amount and the depth of research that you just shared, we will all need to go back and sort of watch that. And as you can see by the chat, you can see the beauty and gift of just convening and taking the time to be here today spurs ideas into actions. And I think I always say, when I see a Rotary call, I always remember what it always feels like when I leave. And I always leave with inspiration and hope and a connection or two more. And it was exactly on a call like this that I first heard about the Dignity Bag Project. And that spurred conversations that led to Crystal Johnson. Crystal Johnson is the charter president for the Rotary Club of Empowering Our Girls, a cause-based club that sits in District 7730. Crystal and I met through Rotary when her and her husband moved to our area. Her husband is a member of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville, my home club, and is the incoming district governor. And Crystal and I have been able to have many conversations, and she heard about already a Rotarian since from 14 years ago. This is the second club that she has been a chartering member of. The first being the Rotary Club of St. Petersburg Sunset, if I have that correctly. And Crystal is an entrepreneurial mindset, and the energy that was created from just thinking about what was possible for our girls led to the formation of a club that will celebrate its first birthday, June 15th of 2024. So without further ado, current club president, Crystal Johnson.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Dawn. First off, I want to thank all of you for inspiring that, because seeing that message about empowering our girls, seeing that initiative from Rotary about empowering the girls, Dawn introducing me to the Dignity Bag Project, and realizing that this is something that hit really close to home for me as a shared experience with those 1 in 5, 1 in 10 girls, was something that really motivated me and got me excited about what the possibilities are for when we work together to change what used to be into what can be. And so for the last year, we have been working together as an official Rotary Club now, and it's been a good year. We haven't done a ton of like group building and continuing to grow the size of the club. But what we've been focusing on specifically is how our impact works and making sure that what we're delivering to our club is super important. So one of the things that we focused on as a group was taking that Rotary action plan, that 4-piece series that they keep talking about, and putting that into place for our club. Based on some of the feedback that we got from our club members, we realized that it's great that we're addressing these emergency needs for the girls when they're in school, but it's not really making it a known issue in the community because only the girls in the schools are dealing with it and they're the ones who are receiving the benefit. So we're like, okay, well, how do we expand the reach? Well, one of the ideas that came out of that action plan was to create dignity buckets. And these are these little silver buckets that we got at the Dollar Tree, and we fill them with period supplies, and we put them in local businesses with a note that says this bucket is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Empowering Our Girls, and we're helping to fight period poverty one bathroom at a time. And so that's really kind of helped us get the message out there. Our district was super supportive in us wanting to get this message out and to do more with the dignity bags. And our district invited us to do a service project at the conference. So we assembled everything we needed to create 1,000 of these dignity bags. And then once we packaged all of the 1,000 dignity bags, we broke them into 25-piece containers and invited all of the Rotary clubs there to take a starter pack back to their club to get it started with a school in their community and to also implement this program as something that's continuing. We broke down what the cost of the dignity bags were, what an annual expense line could be on their budget, and then gave them the links, all of the educational information. Here's how you reach out to people. Here are the common people at the schools that you're going to ask for, and kind of gave them that framework on how to get started. I'm thrilled to tell you that since the district conference and distributing those bags, I've heard from 3 clubs and been invited to present at a few of them that they have rolled these projects out. And so now we have even more clubs that every year are making this a plan to make sure that girls have access to the period care that they need to keep them in school. Another exciting part that we've been privileged to do is one of the members of our club is the CEO of Could You Cup. And it's a nonprofit that creates the period cups. So you've got the 10-year long-term sustainable answer, and we've been able to get those and help distribute those in the community. We're working on creating a global grant, hopefully in Uganda, but we'll see where it goes, to distribute more of those cups. The CEO of Could You Cup, she's got a passion for Uganda, and she's already got some contacts there with some NGOs that could help us with the educational aspect of it. So that's the next year's plan. So yeah, I want to thank everyone here because Dignity Bags is what got us started. And there's been so much momentum behind it and so much passion from the women that have those shared experiences. And it wouldn't have been possible to have this club without the work of all of you ladies. So thank you.
Can you hear her passion? What an amazing club experience that you've led. And so we will have time hopefully at the end for some questions and answers. And I think all of us are willing to stay on for a little bit, time permitting. And what I will say to you is that there are several of us that have been a part of this initiative from the very, very beginning. I see past District Governor Clanice is on the call. She's been one of the very first ambassadors for this as well, helping to serve our zones. And you've already met Kim and Tina, the person behind the screen, Sean Patty. Sean has served with us in this initiative since the very beginning, and between him and Kim have done all things technical that Tina and I would like to think we could do at some point in our life, but they actually do it.
We aspire to be as tech savvy as they are.
Yes. So without further ado, I know. So Sean Patty, we will turn it over to you for resources.
Thanks so much, Dawn. So before I get into the resources, just a few things I wanted to say. This being, we're coming down to the end of our Rotary year, and this being kind of our last office hours technically for the Rotary year. I think in putting this session together, we kind of went through, a very wide list of different projects and activities that are happening within our 2 zones. And, chose these 4 things to just kind of highlight and demonstrate certain aspects of, or certain, small part of that spectrum of activities, right? And wanted to give you guys an idea of not just some of the work that's been happening, but also the fact that a lot of this stuff can be replicated, can be adapted and adopted in your own districts, in your own clubs, in your own communities. There's so many more activities that are happening out there, and we encourage you and your clubs and your districts to really just kind of explore and see what other people are doing, what other clubs are doing. Not even just in Rotary, but just in communities in general. There's so many other nonprofit groups, NGO groups, community-based groups that are doing stuff to help young girls, in different aspects. And that's where, Rotary and the strength of Rotary can be in partnering with those other organizations or partnering with other clubs, or even just introducing something new to your community. That being said, the other thing I just wanted to say was, the last 3 years for me has really been impactful as well, right? A lot of these topics you kind of hear about in the background, but until you actually kind of live it and are part of it and see and hear from the people that are involved, you really don't appreciate it and appreciate the work that goes into it, appreciate the impact that it has on the lives of young girls, their families, and all aspects of it across communities everywhere in the world. And a lot of these problems are universal, right? They're not based on geography. They're not based on ethnicity. They're just sometimes just problems that happen in large and small communities. So again, that's just me again saying there's a certain aspect of adaptability and adaptability and replicability with a lot of these projects, right? And we should really take that to heart in how we move forward as well, with this whole idea of girls empowerment. So the area I just kind of wanted to cover really quickly, and a lot of the questions that we've been getting and may continue to get over the next few months is what's going to happen come July 1st, right? How are things going to be transitioning? What's going to happen with our zone team as far as girls empowerment? So we wanted to make sure and provide you guys with a little bit of information in terms of, what's going to continue, what's going to change a bit, and one of the things we wanted to make sure and emphasize first and foremost is that our zone team is still going to be around. This conglomeration of really awesome people between Dawn, Tina, Kim, Maria, myself, Clinice, Anna, we're all still here to provide support to your districts, to your clubs, to your members, right? And some of the more tangible ways we're going to continue to do that is the Girls Empowerment Facebook group that has been up and running now for about a year and a half. That's going to continue. We encourage you, your members, your clubs, your districts to join that group, share information, keep checking it to see what others are doing, post, share, as much as content as you can with regards to girls empowerment activities, updates, announcements, opportunities. Secondly, we will be maintaining the Girls Empowerment webpage on our Zone 33-34 website. So again, you can always go to that if you want to. It'll probably change a bit more into acting more like a portal where, you can find a lot of information or access information through that webpage, whether it's to our past recordings, whether it's to contact us, whether it's to, the resources that Rotary International will continue to offer, that webpage is going to stick around. Thirdly, we will maintain our email address. So again, that's the primary way to get in touch with us. If you ever need us to come and speak to your club, if you need us to deliver an address at a district conference or any kind of event, we're more than happy to. Any one of our ambassadors is more than happy to come and present something, talk to your club, discuss ideas, anything along those lines. As far as RI is concerned, all the Empowering Girls resources or Girls Empowerment resources that they've accumulated and are available on My Rotary, they're going to be shifting that over from the presidential initiative page and probably put it under the diversity, equity, and inclusion umbrella. So it hasn't happened as yet, but more than likely sometime in early July, that's where you're going to have to go now to find any of those RI resources. From an RI perspective as well, we are also encouraging folks to still continue to use Rotary Showcase to update your projects, add new projects, find new projects under the Girls Empowerment umbrella. Hopefully, they will be maintaining that Girls Empowerment or Empowering Girls kind of subject, so you can kind of search based on that. Rotary Showcase, sometime within the first quarter of the new Rotary year, will be transitioning into something called the Service Project Center. So just keep an eye on that. It's nothing to freak out too much about, but essentially they're going to be providing more enhanced features to it. So again, we encourage you to, still use it, still put your information in there, make sure the information is updated, particularly with regard to contact information, so that anybody who finds your project can reach out to you and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this as well. And they have an up-to-date contact to do that. And then last but not least, one of the things that RI advocates for is, explore existing fellowships and Rotary action groups that are out there, particularly the ones that are focused, whether in whole or in part, on areas that cover girls' empowerment. There are a few fellowships right now that exist, and there are definitely at least 2 action groups that are undertaking issues related to girls' empowerment. So there's the Rotary Action Group on mental health. There's a Rotary Action Group on maternal and child care. All of them in some way, shape, or form are doing some kind of activity or providing some type of resources and support. Equally so, there's the Fellowship for Empowering Women that is based in Africa. They're doing a lot of good work as well. So again, the idea here is that nothing is really disappearing, it's transitioning, right? And we want to make sure that all the folks that have supported, the efforts in 33 and 34 and in the respective districts are aware of how these transitions are taking place and how best they can now tap into additional resources. So that being said, one of the things we want to kind of just talk really quickly on is this idea of Rotary action groups and the transition to a Rotary action group. Whether some of you know this already or not, a Rotary action group is a very targeted and specific arm of Rotary. It has a little bit of a different focus. It has a bit of a different way of working versus clubs or district or zone entities, right? Rotary action groups are first and foremost global entities. They cover the scope of the entire world, but they're also the purpose of them and how they function and how they're composed is a little bit different. In this case, Rotary action groups are made up of experts. Personally, I don't necessarily like the word experts because it connotates like, you have to be an expert in a particular field to be part of an action group. That's not the case, right? It should consist of experts, but it also just really consists of dedicated persons, right? Committed to a particular area, committed to a particular task, committed to a particular field. And if you ever explore any of the existing Rotary action groups that are around right now, they cover such a wide range of topics, right? And one of the ones that, we are looking to get into is covering the whole idea of girls' empowerment. So in terms of what an action group does, right, it really is there to provide expertise, support, to help clubs, which are really the action arm or the activity arm of Rotary, right? When it comes to the work of Rotary, it's really clubs that do the work. Action groups are there in a supportive capacity, whether it's to help plan and implement projects, whether it's to, help with the strategy of it, whether it's to look for additional funding. That's where clubs, districts, and members can tap into the expertise, quote unquote, of a Rotary action group. And we want to make sure that the overall idea here is coming from those 4 priorities of our action plan, right? Expanding our reach, increasing our ability to adapt, enhancing participant engagement, and increasing our impact. And that's really where action groups come into play, right? Is helping to increase the impact of projects and activities that clubs and sometimes districts will be looking to do. In terms of how persons interact with a RAG, right? Again, it's all about providing them getting the support that they need, right? So whether it's advice on planning and implementing projects, whether it's connecting with potential partners, whether inside or outside of Rotary, and whether it's with regards to, again, fundraising, right? All these are kind of the generic services that action groups provide, and will be maintained or will at least be the objectives in whole or in part in any new action group that is being looked at right now. So with that, I know we're kind of close on time. I'm going to kind of hand it over to Tina, who's going to close things off a bit by kind of giving us an idea of what's next and, this next phase that we're going to be really going into as far as girls empowerment overall. Tina?
Thank you, Sean, and thank you all for sharing your projects with us again today and giving us an update on projects we have featured in the past. Just truly amazing what is going on in our world to empower our girls, and that is where we're headed, to continue to empower our girls. So before we get started, how many, raise your hand, are a member of an action group? I just want to see hands. Okay, all right. So that is where that is the next phase of this girls empowerment program. At the direction and the request of Rotary International, we are in the process of forming the RAG. It's going to take some time. We have our core group, and we will begin processing information, getting it all out there. But being a part of an action group, as Sean alluded to, is a powerful tool. Even in Singapore, when you go to international conventions, they hold events for RAG members where you meet with leaders of Rotary International and you meet with other RAG members to share ideas and build support and continuity. So after 3 years of the tremendous work we've done in Zone 33 and 34, we are taking this global, and it is going to be simply amazing. So at the moment, we don't have any formalized information to share other than Dawn did put in the chat a letter that we received from Rotary International about it becoming a sunsetting, if you will, at the international level. But we're not going to let it stop, right? We're going to keep it moving forward. And by doing that is through our Rotary Action Group. And from that may bloom fellowship. It's all about growing and keeping awareness. So all of you on this screen, and I'm taking a picture so everybody smile. Hold on. I'm getting it in the frame here. All of you, everybody smiling? Got it. Maybe one more. Smile. All of you are going to be major players in how we move this forward. And so from the bottom of my heart and the team, we truly appreciate your dedication to empowering our girls and continuing to give them a voice and a platform. And by doing that, we empower our boys. We empower everybody. So it's a cross-collateral effort. So now I know we're running over. We're going to have some Q&A. So I saw some hands raised. Who had their hand up? I saw it and then it was down, but just raise your hand if you have a question or put your question in the chat. No questions? Well, stay tuned for this recording. Will be posted in our normal resource area and shared via email. And we will also watch, it's a busy time of the year. So watch for an email from us probably sometime late in July about where we are, the progress we're making. It's busy for everybody with district conferences and changeover parties and international conventions, etc. So we're just taking it one step at a time, crossing our T's and dotting our I's, and we will keep you posted on where we are moving with the Rotary Action Group for girls empowerment. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.